Thank you everyone for taking time out today. As you know, animals don't have a voice in politics unless you give them one. And by coming here today, by supporting OneKind, by supporting the League Against Cruel Sports, that's exactly what you're doing. So you are all superstars. Thank you. I want to start with, well, a very quick history lesson. Fox hunting was meant to be banned in Scotland 15 years ago, 2 years before Westminster tried to do the same thing in England and Wales with the Hunting Act. So it was an amazing moment. It was early on in the days of the Scottish Parliament, and it sent a powerful message that the Scottish Parliament would take on the small, powerful minority lobby for the public interest and to protect animals from unnecessary and brutal cruelty. That is the kind of modern, progressive Scotland that I want to live in, and it is the modern, progressive Scotland that the vast majority of the public want to live in. Don't forget that whenever this is polled, well, the latest poll in fact, over 80% of the public want a ban. It's overwhelming. 15 years later, after that act was passed, it's disappointing to say though, that whilst the act has been good on some fronts, on fox hunting, well, fox hunting carries on much as it did before, okay? And if you're ever in any doubt, 3 facts. First of all, before the ban was introduced, there were 10 hunts operating in Scotland. How many are there today? 10. Since the ban was introduced, there have been 0 successful prosecutions of a mounted hunt. Absolutely none. Compare that to the Hunting Act in England and Wales, more robust legislation, there's been a series of successful prosecutions. And then finally, this comes from the hunts themselves. They're killing 800 foxes a year. 160 of those, we estimate, are actually being killed by the hounds, torn apart by the hunt dogs. And then if you're in any doubt after that, look at the videos from the League Against Cruel Sports, excellent investigations from last year and the previous year. As far as I'm concerned, they show hunting much as it always was under the guise of pest control, because that's how they're doing it. So when the Act was introduced by the Scottish Parliament, the intention was to ban hunting, but it was amended to introduce exemptions. And one of those exemptions, the most important ones, allows the flushing of foxes with a pack of dogs out from cover. So you let them chase the fox out of bracken or whatever it might be, and as long as you intend to shoot that fox, that's fine. If you miss and the hounds kill the fox, that's accidental hunting, and accidental hunting is fine. What a ridiculous state of affairs. And my view is that the behaviour is brazen and in the open now. You can even go on the hunt websites and they'll tell you they're doing this. One hunt says, all Scottish packs use the exemption, allowing foxes to be flushed for guns. So I think this has become now not just about animal cruelty, and that's what it is in its most blatant form, but it's also about the integrity of the Scottish Parliament, because every time the Bugle announces another fox hunted on Scottish soil, that is undermining the Parliament. So we've come together today for 2 reasons, and I should say we've come together at quite short notice, haven't we? I think we only kind of warned you we might possibly do an event 2 weeks ago, and you've all managed to make the time at a busy time of year, which is brilliant. But we've come together to send a message, first of all, to all of those candidates who are looking for to become an MP in Westminster. We want you to do everything you possibly can to block any kind of repeal of the Hunting Act or to weaken the Hunting Act. And they will be, I'm sure, lambasted for interfering in Westminster politics in England and such like, but that is no reason to sit back while others attempt to reintroduce a brutal and cruel blood sport into England and Wales, just when Scotland is perhaps finally going to ban it once and for all. And that brings me to, sorry, you can clap at the end. And that brings me to our final message, which is to Scottish politicians, to MSPs and the Scottish Government, and to Nicola Sturgeon, which is we want a real hunting ban in Scotland, and we want one now. As Alison said, Patrick Harvey, co-convener of the Scottish Greens, challenged Nicola Sturgeon on her position on fox hunting just on Thursday. And if you did the email campaign we've been doing, you helped make that happen, so well done. I'll just read you what she said. I've always been an opponent of fox hunting and remain an opponent of fox hunting, be under no doubt at all that this government opposes fox hunting, and that's the position we continue to take. That's pretty clear, isn't it? Yeah. Our job now is to hold her and to hold the Scottish Government to those words. We've been waiting 15 years for a ban. I hope we don't have to wait much longer. Thanks everyone for coming today.